We got the distress signal at 3 a.m. It woke me from a deep sleep, the shrill beeping echoing in my ears. Bobby, Kim, and I stumbled to the control room where the radio was flashing urgently.
Distress signal from a yacht?
Bobby said, his voice tense.
Registered to a Daniel Owens. No other information.
All right, I said, adrenaline kicking in. Let's gear up. By 3:10 a.m., we were cutting across the waves in our rescue boat, surrounded by the darkness of the ocean. The only light came from our headlamp, piercing the pitch-black night. The weather was clear, but I couldn't help but wonder what had happened to Daniel and his friends, since it had been a long time since we'd received an SOS without a storm.
Who knows with these rich folks?
Kim said.
They do all kinds of weird stuff.
The ocean loomed ahead of us, pure darkness in every direction. I glanced back, seeing the lights from the dock getting smaller and smaller, eventually swallowed by the void. We reached the yacht by 3:20 a.m. It was a massive vessel, about 50 or 60 feet long, reflecting eerily in the inky black water. Bobby shifted gears and we pulled up alongside it. Slowly, quietly, Bobby grabbed the megaphone.
U.S. Coast Guard,
He called out.
can you hear us?
Silence. Kim and I started with the rope securing our boat to the yacht. As we worked, I kept glancing up at the yacht. I didn't see any damage to the boat or people in the water. Kim boarded first. I followed while Bobby stayed in our boat, preparing to search the surrounding water. I swallowed hard and stepped inside. The doors opened into a small but lavishly decorated room. To the right, a bar area stood, and to the left a dining area with tables and booths. The tables were set with food as if people had just been there moments before. Glasses of champagne still bubbling, a fillet of salmon a few bites missing, lipstick smeared on a napkin. I looked at my watch. 3:25 a.m. They'd sent the SOS not even 20 minutes ago. How did they go from eating and drinking to just nothing? Kim walked over, her face pale.
I checked below deck, no one's there.
The food's still warm, I said, my voice shaky. Her eyes widened.
What the hell? Where did they go?
I suggested to check the top deck. We made our way to the stairs, moving cautiously. The top deck was open to the air. I glanced at the captain's chair, the steering wheel, and the little U-shaped sofa behind them. It was empty. They're not here, that's for sure. They've got to be in the water. I looked out over the railing, into the black water below. I turned, looking around the boat, scanning the water. My heart stopped. Where's Bobby? Our boat was still linked with the yacht, but it was empty.
He must have boarded.
Kim snapped, charging for the stairs.
He never follows protocol. I always tell him it's going to get someone killed, but no, he just has to do things his way.
Her rant grew muffled as she descended towards the deck. I followed her, but Bobby wasn't downstairs. He wasn't in the dining area or in either of the bedrooms below deck. I checked tiny closets that couldn't possibly fit a person, then opened the storage cabins that held the life jackets. Bobby, where are you? A hand clamped over my mouth. Something shoved me to the floor. I tried to wrestle away, but then I saw a flash of red curls above me. Kim. She was dragging me under the table, whispering, begging me to keep quiet. Shh. Squelch. Both of us froze. I slightly glanced up. Bobby was standing there in the center of the room, but something was horribly wrong with him. He was soaking wet from head to toe. Seawater sloshed in his boots. Streams of water ran off his sleeves. His face was pale and sickly, with his forehead swollen unnaturally, almost sagging downwards. And his eyes, they were pure white, pupilless, blank. Squelch. Bobby took another step. Squelch. And another. Kim's nails dug into my arm. We watched as Bobby, no, not Bobby, not anymore, continued walking towards us. I held my breath, shutting my eyes. Please don't let him see us. Please. Squelch. 2 rubber boots, right in front of our table. Squelch. He continued deeper into the cabin. I let out the breath I was holding. Kim's grip on my arm loosened. As soon as Bobby's steps sounded on the stairs, Kim whispered to me,
Run!
I didn't want to, but then she shoved me hard and I was rolling out from under the table. I scrambled up just in time to see Bobby freeze on the stairs. He slowly turned around, his white eyes locking on mine. I ran, faster than I'd run in my life. We scrambled out onto the deck, then made our way into the boat as fast as we could. Kim made it first. Then she grabbed my hand, pulling me towards safety. Squelch. Bobby's hand locked onto my ankle, except they weren't just hands. His fingers were jointless like tentacles wrapping perfectly around my ankle, covered in fleshy suction cups. And his face, it was rapidly changing. Before my eyes, his flesh twisted and bloated into different forms, until I saw a woman, then an older man. This is how I die. But then a massive wave crashed over us, flipping the boat 90 degrees, and everything fell into the sea. Back home, I was so relieved, so thankful. Whatever that thing was, I'd escaped it. I felt better than I had in years. Like all my problems were tiny grains of sand, but now I'm not so sure.
She's a goddamn psycho. I don't know what to do with my stepdaughter anymore. She took a bunch of pictures of me while I was sleeping. Everything started 6 months ago when I married Harry. He has a 13-year-old daughter, Lily, from his previous marriage. I don't have any children of my own. The problem is, Lily and I haven't been able to get along. Since the wedding, things have gotten progressively worse. Much worse. At first, she ignored me. Now she's aggressive. My favourite shoes were smeared with paint. My designer clothes were turned into rags. She even splattered black ink all over our bed like some bizarre art project. Who knows what goes on in these kids' minds? Harry has talked to her many times, but he's never truly scolded or punished her. Lily needs to be held accountable for her actions, but he's too soft to discipline her or take away her phone. He keeps defending her, telling me to be patient and give her more time to adjust. He says Lily is going through a tough time. But what about me? I'm also struggling. I can only sigh and let things slide, but it's getting worse. Harry went on a business trip for 3 days, leaving me to look after Lily. Right off the bat, she started to annoy me. She casually wore my necklace without asking. I told her, "You can wear my necklace, but you need to ask for my permission first." "I don't need to ask for anything," she said. "Yes, you do. You need to learn to ask adults for permission. While your father is away for the next 3 days, you have to listen to me." "I won't listen. You're not my mother," Lily yelled, tugging the necklace until it snapped. I was super angry, so I took her phone and banned her from using it for the next 3 days. She ran to her room, slammed the door, and cried. I called Harry to explain the situation. I knew he was upset, but he agreed that Lily needed to change and that taking her phone was the right thing to do. I thought that was the end of it, but then I discovered something horrifying. That night, after Lily went to bed, I took a selfie to send to Harry. When I opened the photo gallery, I saw pictures of me, sleeping. What the hell was going on? I must have picked up Lily's phone by mistake. But why had Lily taken photos of me sleeping? They were blurry and dark. She hadn't used the flash, but I could clearly see my face pressed against the pillow, eyes closed. I could see Harry's shadow in the background, turned away. I scrolled to the next photo, still of me sleeping, but from a different angle, taken from below, like she was hiding under the bed. I checked the timestamps. They were all around 2 a.m. over several weeks. I panicked. Now the only thing I could do was call Harry, but the long ringing tone echoed in my ears, my heart pounding. I called again. Still the long ring. He must have set his phone to silent because he has a meeting tomorrow. "Jen!" someone suddenly called. From behind me, in the dim light, that was Lily, her wavy hair falling over half her face. Lily wanted her phone back. "Not tonight," I answered, my voice trembling and my heart racing. "But you can have it tomorrow." Lily shrugged and walked back to her room. I looked through the photos again. Why had Lily taken these pictures? To threaten me? To scare me? Was she planning to kill me? Or maybe she just wanted to embarrass me? Maybe she planned to post them on TikTok or Instagram, but I looked awful, mouth open while I slept. Anyway, it wasn't the act of a psychopath. Lily was just a child. Still, that night, I locked my bedroom door. While waiting for Lily to finish school, I called Harry. He also thought Lily might have taken the pictures to post online or something. But Harry agreed with me that things had gone too far. He promised to talk to her when he returned from his trip. "Can I use my phone today?" Lily asked the moment she got in the car. "When you're really, really good, then I'll give it back, okay?" Tonight, I just needed to lock my bedroom door to be safe. She couldn't take pictures of me anymore. After talking to Harry, I felt much better, but what happened next made me regret it. That night, Lily was very well behaved. She thanked me for dinner, washed the dishes, and even folded the towels neatly. Although I didn't want to give her phone back, I wanted to reward her for her behavior. So I returned her phone. Suddenly, I woke up at 2:30 a.m. Everything was dark. I couldn't see anything except the faint glow from the nightstand lamp. I realized what had woken me up. A metallic sound. Click, click, coming from the door. Just as I got out of bed, the door burst open. Lily stood in the doorway, holding her phone and... Snap! "What do you think you're doing?" I shouted. Lily suddenly ran away. I jumped out of bed, chased her and demanded, "Hey, stop! Why are you taking pictures of me? Why?" Lily stopped, then slowly turned her head. "Dad doesn't believe me, so I took pictures." "What? What do you mean he doesn't believe you? About what?" Lily said nothing, handing me the phone. She swiped to the first photo of me taken in the dark, blurry and dim. Her finger pointed to the ceiling in the picture. "Look!" "Look at what?" "Just turn up the brightness!" I turned up the brightness. In the picture, something was on the ceiling. Long shapes, crisscrossing. Lily swiped to the next picture and the next. It's like watching an old cartoon, each frame creating a movement. Something was reaching from the ceiling toward the bed, like a woman's arm. Dad didn't believe me when I showed him the pictures. He said he didn't see anything. He scolded me and said I read too many horror stories. So I showed my friends, but they didn't know either. My heart started to pound. I looked at the last photo, taken minutes ago, when I was sitting up in bed, shouting for Lily, and behind me was...
I hate this looping life. My legs are numb from running errands all day at work from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Feels like an endless loop to me. The sound of the wheels rolling steadily on the tracks is like a sad song, repeating over and over without end. Suddenly, the lights in the train car go out. The air around me becomes cold, and the train shakes violently. A voice comes over the loudspeaker. "There is a problem on the train, please remain calm." Then quickly announces, "This is Shinkansen Guruguru Zero headed to Tokyo." My heart pounds, and I decide to go to the other cars to check on the situation. But strangely, every car looks the same, and each one bears the number 4. My head starts spinning with unanswered questions. The same man is slumped against the wall. The same old man sits in the corner of the car. "You've fallen into a loop," he says, his voice deep and ominous. "A loop?" I ask, not understanding what he means. "Yes, to escape you must follow the rules. If you see something unusual, turn back. If you see nothing unusual, keep moving to the next car," the old man said. I look around again. Everything around me is identical to the previous cars, from the seat designs to the dim lighting and stifling air. But as I move further in, a shiver runs down my spine, like the feeling of being watched. Suddenly, I see a human hand on the train floor, sticking out from under a seat. It moves as if trying to grab me. My heart stops for a moment and fear surges up. A headless body was trying to cling to me, creeping closer to me, and its hands were reaching out as if searching for something. I realize this is something unusual, just as the old man said. I turn around, ready to run forward. Suddenly, a head fell right before my eyes. Its eyes are wide open, lifeless, and its mouth is agape as if trying to scream, but no sound comes out. In a split-second reaction, I dodge the bizarre head instinctively to avoid danger. I crawl into. Before I can catch my breath, suddenly, the sound of breaking glass comes from above. Water starts pouring into the car quickly like an invisible monster. I can't think, just act as fast as I can, my feet pounding on the floor. My heart races, breaths coming in gasps. The water rises, nearly reaching my knees. Although the strong current was blocking me, I still tried to move forward as quickly as possible. Just in time. My heart feels like it will explode, having narrowly escaped the dangerous water. Entering car number 2, I see the man who was asleep before is now awake, sitting upright. At first I don't notice, but then I see his legs sticking out, moving like octopus tentacles. When I accidentally look into his eyes, they suddenly glow, cold and malevolent. He screams, the sound echoing through the car, then stands up, chasing after me. My heart races and my legs seem to gain strength from the fear. I turn and run as fast as I can toward the door, but the distance between me and the octopus man is quickly shortened. I can hear his tentacles stretching out. The door to the car closes just as I barely make it through. Car number 1. I sigh in relief, barely escaping the pursuit. Car number 1 is eerily quiet. I carefully search everywhere, checking each seat, every corner, hoping to find some sign. Each step makes my heart beat faster. Nothing unusual. I check every little detail, but everything is normal. I decide to take a risk. Thankfully, I step into car number 0, feeling a blanket of calmness. This is the last car. I think I'm close to escaping the loop. This car looks completely normal, with no signs of anything unusual. I sigh in relief, thinking I've finally escaped the nightmare. But then, just as I'm about to leave the car, I notice something moving in the corner. A strange creature stands up from a seat, its eyes glowing brightly in the dark. Its skin blends with the patterned seat fabric, making it invisible until now. The creature starts moving toward me, quickly and silently. Panicked, I turn and run toward the other door. The creature is almost upon me. Its footsteps are heavy. Its breath is cold like a freezing wind on my neck. I run as fast as I can, but it feels like I'm never fast enough. The creature is getting closer. I can feel its presence right behind me. Just as I reach the door, a seat suddenly flipped down, tripping me up, and I fall to the floor. The creature lunges, its long, bony arms ready to grab me. I can't do anything but close my eyes, bracing for the inevitable end. I wake up after a bizarre dream. A worried woman looks at me suddenly, concerned in her eyes, asking, "Do you know why everything seems to be repeating?" "You've fallen into a loop." I can't control my voice. "If you want to escape, remember the rules. If you see something unusual, run straight ahead, don't look back."